With the war closing in and time slipping away faster than ever, one question is now more terrifying than anything else. Can Jamie and William save Lord John Grey before it's too late, or will this rescue mission destroy everything they've been fighting for? Because right now, nothing is going according to plan. The battlefield is waiting, enemies are moving in the shadows, and Lord John Grey is trapped in the hands of a man who clearly has a much bigger agenda. And just when Jamie finally fixed his broken bond with William, fate throws them into a deadly mission that could either bring them closer or tear them apart forever. With only 2 episodes left before the grand finale of Outlander, Episode 9 is shaping up to be one of the most intense and emotionally charged chapters of the entire season. And honestly, after everything we saw in Episode 8, it feels like the story has suddenly taken a sharp and dangerous turn. Just when we thought the focus would remain on the approaching Battle of King's Mountain, the shocking kidnapping of Lord John Grey has completely changed the direction of the narrative. Now, instead of preparing calmly for war, Jamie is being forced into a situation where he must make an impossible choice: fight for the future of a nation, or risk everything to save the man who once protected his son. What makes this situation even more complicated is the emotional weight behind it. Because this is not just about rescuing someone important. This is about loyalty, debt, and unfinished bonds. Lord John Grey is not just an ally to Jamie, he is someone who played a crucial role in William's life. And now that William finally knows the truth and has accepted Jamie as his father, this rescue mission suddenly becomes deeply personal for him as well. In fact, if you think about it, this might be the very first time we are seeing Jamie and William truly stand on the same side, fighting for the same purpose. But at the same time, the timing of all this feels incredibly dangerous. The war is literally at the door. Every decision Jamie makes right now could change the outcome of the battle. And yet, from what we see in the Episode 9 promo, it looks like Jamie is not even hesitating. Despite Claire and Brianna clearly wanting him to stay away from the battlefield, Jamie seems more determined than ever to take action. And honestly, this creates a lot of tension because it raises a very important question: why are Claire and Brianna suddenly against Jamie going to war? Because if you remember, they were both actively supporting him during the preparations. They knew how important this battle was. So what changed? Why this sudden fear? One possibility is that they might know something that Jamie doesn't. Maybe there is a hidden danger in this battle, something that could put Jamie's life at serious risk. And if that's true, then Jamie choosing to go not only puts himself in danger but also risks leaving Claire and Brianna behind in a devastating way. At the same time, we cannot ignore the role of Captain Richardson in all of this. Because let's be honest, this kidnapping does not feel random at all. It feels planned. It feels strategic. Richardson clearly knows what he is doing, and more importantly, he knows exactly how to create pressure on Jamie. By capturing Lord John Grey, he is not just removing an important figure, he is forcing Jamie into a corner. He is making Jamie choose between duty and loyalty. And if that wasn't enough, Percy's betrayal has made things even worse. Because no one saw that coming. That moment completely shifted the trust dynamics of the story. Now, Jamie cannot be sure who is truly on his side and who might turn against him next. This creates an atmosphere where every move feels risky, and every decision could lead to unexpected consequences. But what truly makes Episode 9 exciting is the possibility of a secret rescue mission led by Jamie and William. From what we see, it looks like both of them are going to take matters into their own hands. And honestly, this could be the turning point of their relationship. Because working together in a life-or-death situation might finally allow them to understand each other on a deeper level. For William, this is a chance to prove himself. And for Jamie, this is a chance to show his son who he truly is, not just as a father, but as a man who never abandons those he cares about. However, the biggest question still remains: can they actually pull this off? Because this is not just a simple rescue. This is a mission happening under extreme pressure, with the war looming in the background and enemies possibly watching their every move. One wrong step, and everything could fall apart. And if that happens, not only could they lose Lord John Grey, but they might also lose something far more important: the fragile bond they have just begun to rebuild. And that is exactly what makes this episode so thrilling. Because right now, it feels like every path leads to danger. Every decision carries weight. And no matter what Jamie chooses, there will be consequences. As we move deeper into Episode 9, the tension around the rescue mission begins to rise even more, because now it is no longer just an idea, it is actually happening. And the moment Jamie and William decide to act, everything instantly becomes more dangerous. Because this is not a well-planned military operation with full support and backup. This feels secretive, rushed, and extremely risky. And that alone tells us just how desperate the situation really is. Jamie is not someone who acts without thinking, but this time, it feels like he is being driven by something much stronger than strategy. He is being driven by loyalty and urgency. At the same time, William's role in this mission is something we cannot ignore. Because if you look at his character journey this season, this is a huge turning point for him. Just a short while ago, he was filled with anger, confusion, and denial. He did not want to accept Jamie, and he certainly did not want to be part of his world. But now, everything has changed. The truth has settled in, and more importantly, his emotions have started to shift. And what we are seeing now is a version of William who is ready to take action, not out of anger, but out of purpose. And that is exactly why this mission matters so much. Because for William, saving Lord John Grey is not just about returning a favor. It is about protecting the man who raised him, the man who stood by him when no one else could. And at the same time, it is also about standing beside Jamie, not as someone who is forced into the situation, but as someone who chooses to be there. And that choice changes everything. Because now, this is not just Jamie's fight anymore. This is their fight. However, what makes this entire situation even more intense is the uncertainty surrounding Lord John Grey's condition. We know he has been captured, but we do not know how he is being treated, where exactly he is being held, or what Captain Richardson is planning to do with him. And that unknown factor creates a constant sense of urgency. Because every second that passes could make things worse. And if Richardson has a bigger plan in motion, then this rescue mission might be walking straight into a trap. And honestly, that possibility cannot be ignored. Because everything about this situation feels too perfectly set up. The betrayal, the kidnapping, the timing, it all feels connected. It feels like someone is trying to distract Jamie, to pull him away from the battlefield at the most critical moment. And if that is true, then this mission could have consequences far beyond just saving one person. It could affect the entire outcome of the war. At the same time, we also need to talk about Benjamin Cleveland, because his presence in the story is becoming more and more significant. Jamie referring to him as a devil was not just a random choice of words. It felt like a warning. And now, with the battle getting closer, there is a strong possibility that Cleveland's actions could completely change the situation on the ground. If he steps in at the wrong moment, or if his strategy clashes with Jamie's plans, then everything Jamie has been preparing for could fall apart. And this is where things become truly complicated. Because now Jamie is caught between two major responsibilities. On one side, there is the rescue mission, a deeply personal and emotional decision. And on the other side, there is the war, a responsibility that affects countless lives. And trying to balance both at the same time is almost impossible. No matter what he chooses to prioritize, something will be at risk. Meanwhile, Claire and Brianna's concerns continue to grow stronger, and this adds another layer of tension to the story. Because they are not just worried without reason. Claire, especially, has always had a deeper understanding of what is coming. Whether it is through her knowledge of history or her instincts, she often senses danger before it fully appears. And the fact that she is trying to stop Jamie from going to war suggests that something is not right. Something bigger might be about to happen. But what makes this even more emotional is the fact that Jamie is not someone who can simply walk away. War, duty, loyalty, these are things that define him. And even if Claire asks him to stay, even if Brianna fears the worst, Jamie will still feel the pull to do what he believes is right. And right now, in his mind, that means saving Lord John Grey and standing strong in the face of war. And as all these tensions build together, one thing becomes very clear: Episode 9 is not just about action. It is about choices. Difficult, painful, and life-changing choices. And the path Jamie and William are walking on right now is filled with risks at every step. Because one wrong move could cost them everything. As the story continues to unfold, episode 9 starts to feel even heavier, because now the emotional stakes are rising just as fast as the danger itself. And at this point, it is no longer just about whether Jamie and William can successfully rescue Lord John Grey, it is also about what this mission might cost them in the end. Because the deeper they go into enemy territory, the more it begins to feel like they are stepping into something much bigger than they expected. One of the most interesting things here is how the bond between Jamie and William continues to evolve during this mission. Because this is not just a physical journey, it is an emotional one as well. Every moment they spend together, every decision they make side by side, is slowly breaking down the distance that once existed between them. And honestly, you can feel that shift. There is less anger now, less resistance, and more understanding. But at the same time, there is still a certain tension that has not completely disappeared. Because no matter how much progress they make, the past cannot be erased so easily. And that is exactly why this mission feels like a test. A test of trust, a test of loyalty, and a test of whether they can truly function as father and son when everything is on the line. Because in a situation like this, hesitation can be deadly. If they are not fully in sync, even for a moment, it could lead to serious consequences. And the fact that they are still learning to understand each other makes this even more risky. At the same time, the mystery around Captain Richardson continues to grow. Because the more we think about it, the more it feels like his plan is far from simple. Capturing Lord John Grey is not just about removing an important figure, it feels like a move designed to provoke a reaction. And that reaction is exactly what we are seeing now. Jamie is stepping away from the battlefield, even if only for a short time, and that could create an opening for something much bigger to happen. And this brings us back to the idea that this entire situation might actually be a trap. Because if Richardson anticipated Jamie's move, then it is possible that he is already one step ahead. He might be expecting the rescue attempt. He might even be preparing for it. And if that is the case, then Jamie and William could be walking straight into danger without even realizing it. But what makes this even more intense is the emotional pressure connected to Lord John Grey himself. Because let's not forget, he is not just a victim in this situation. He is someone who has always carried a quiet strength. Even in captivity, it is very likely that he is trying to find a way to survive, to resist, or even to outsmart his captors. And that creates another layer of suspense, because we do not know what condition he is in or what he might be going through at this very moment. Meanwhile, there is also a growing sense that the rescue mission and the war are slowly starting to collide. At first, they felt like two separate storylines, but now, they are beginning to overlap. And that is where things become truly dangerous. Because if the timing of the rescue does not align with the movements of the army, it could create chaos. Jamie might be forced to make a split-second decision, either complete the mission or return to lead the battle. And this is where Claire's earlier concerns start to make even more sense. Because if Jamie is not present at the right moment, the outcome of the battle could change completely. And if something goes wrong during the rescue, then he might not even make it back in time. And that possibility creates a constant feeling of tension throughout the episode, but perhaps the most emotional part of all this is the idea of sacrifice. Because the way the story is building up, it really feels like someone is going to pay a heavy price. Whether it is Jamie, William, or even Lord John Grey himself, there is a strong sense that this mission will not end without consequences. And that uncertainty keeps the audience on edge, because at this stage of the story, anything can happen. And then there is the possibility of unexpected twists, something Outlander is known for. Because just when things seem to be moving in one direction, the story has a way of turning everything upside down. Whether it is a sudden confrontation, a hidden betrayal, or a shocking revelation, Episode 9 feels like it is building toward a moment that could completely change everything. So as we move closer to the climax of this episode, one thing becomes very clear. This is not just a rescue story anymore. This is a turning point. A moment where relationships will be tested, loyalties will be questioned, and the future of multiple characters will hang by a thread. And the closer Jamie and William get to their goal, the more dangerous everything becomes. As we move closer to the climax of episode 9, the story begins to take a much more emotional and almost haunting turn. Because now, alongside the tension of the rescue mission and the pressure of the approaching war, there is another layer quietly building in the background, one that feels deeply personal and almost symbolic. And that is the possibility of flashbacks and unexpected returns from the past. From what we know, several familiar faces are expected to appear again, and this immediately raises a very important question: why now? Because bringing back so many characters at such a critical point in the story does not feel random at all. It feels intentional. It feels like the story is preparing us for something big. And honestly, when a show like Outlander starts revisiting its past in this way, it usually means that a major turning point is coming, and this is where things start to feel a little emotional and even slightly unsettling.